Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of N2 the Chatterverse, where two gents share their 2 cents on pop media. I am Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
And I'm Bill, and I have an April Fool's joke for you.
Oh. You can give it to us now?
No.
Or do I have to wait?
You'll wait.
Dang it, I got excited. All right, that's cool. What we're here to talk about, though, is the slate of things that have been released about what the DC universe is putting out. James Gunn and Peter Safran, they did a kind of a showcase, much in the same way that James did his announcement of the Gods and Monsters setup, and we're kind of getting a follow-up on exactly, what is coming, how it's going, and things to expect beyond that. First and foremost, like, how long ago was the Gods and Monsters announcement?
You know what? I don't remember.
I was going to say, is it 21, 22, 23?
Was it all at the same time, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that people keep bringing this up, and I just completely blank on it, because to me, fair. It's like, that's not even that.
Well, yeah, because it's so many different aspects. Because like Gods and Monsters was a Justice League story or direct-to-video movie that they did, and so when he named it that slate, which was interesting, it put people in a certain mind, like, oh, it's going to be this, and then not a lot of what he said was that. So let's see. I don't see
anything that says when it was
specifically released.
Yeah.
All right. So I would say it had to be like 22, 23, something like that. So there's been a lot of anticipation about it. Obviously the announcement of it meant the official end of the DCEU. And so there's a lot of, speculation on how well it's going to be captured and, how well it's going to be executed. The first thing that we've had from it is Creature Commandos, but that's kind of like a soft launch of it. We're not seeing anything major until the release of Superman this coming summer. But with this new follow-up of things, I think there's some very interesting sort of bits of clarity amidst all the mystery that still exists. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, we are getting another Superman trailer. How do you feel about that? Because I know when we saw the initial teaser, we were kind of the boat of like, we're satisfied.
Yeah.
You don't have to give us another one because we're gonna see this.
We're satisfied.
I mean, that's true. But can you imagine an audience member that did not get what they should get from that? Like, I don't think
there
they left
are always
anything.
Like multiple trailers.
True.
And there's also at times revisions to those trailers as well. Usually you get up to 4 or 5 trailers theatrically.
God, that's a lot.
And that doesn't count anything as far as TV goes.
Oh. Were you counting international? Please tell me you were counting international as well, because that's a lot.
Well, no, I mean, anything that's done, any domestic trailer will have an international version of it.
All right. Man, that's because there is so much content to what we've seen in Superman. I'm a little afraid of what another trailer would reveal.
Well, I mean, if the movie's like 2:20,
is that the slate time?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
And each scene that you've seen is like 2 or 3 seconds long, so you're not really seeing anything. You have to decide where it is in the movie, right, for the most part. And a lot of times, what you see in a trailer
might not even be
in the first part of the movie.
True.
Unless you're talking about the Red Hulk, which,
yeah,
I mean, I understand why they put the Red Hulk in because they were worried about
they needed
people
those
not
numbers.
coming.
They needed those numbers.
But there's everybody. The hindsight is 2020. Like, they should have never put that in.
Of course.
Yeah.
Sure. Were you gonna go see it without it?
Yeah,
probably not. Not. So that's kind of my first thing, is because I enjoyed that first teaser trailer so much that I'm a little scared about what another one would.
So you're gonna get another 2 or 3 Fantastic Four trailers before that movie comes out.
I'm not gonna say that I don't care, but I don't care
well,
in the same way.
Think in terms of who you know is in the Fantastic Four and you did not see them.
Also true. But I mean, that's kind of something where I think they have something to prove in a way that for this particular Superman, I don't feel like they have to prove. And I have no real rationale for it. It's not like there haven't been failed Superman movies. Yes, there have, in scale or in projection. But for this, there's something about it where I'm like, no, be different. Don't give them that much.
This is the kickoff for the DCU.
Yes.
They've got to get as many people out there as possible.
Right.
They've got us because we were going to go anyway.
Of course.
All right. And they need to get those people that have watched the Snyderverse version, the DCEU, and didn't like it, and have to tell them that this is a completely different Superman.
Sure.
Now, that being said, does this movie need to be a hit? Not necessarily. It needs to be good.
Right.
It needs to resonate with certain people. It can't be a failure. And when I say failure, I mean if they've spent $200 million on it, it can't make $400 million.
Right.
If it makes like $600 million and if it doesn't break even, that's fine.
Right.
If it gets to that line, that's okay. It's about getting people out there. It's just like
it's setting the stage.
It's just like when you saw Batman Begins.
Right.
Did you not love that movie?
Absolutely.
I don't like Batman. I love that movie.
Yeah.
And not enough people will go. We just had Batman.
Right.
And or didn't they just screw up Batman and
like almost 10 years ago. What are you talking about?
And Michael Keaton's my Batman. Who's this guy? And I'm like, this is Batman if Batman lived in our universe.
Yes. And it's great.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. Like, does it have to be a commercial success? No, but it does. It can't be a commercial failure, which I can see that that's what they're trying to do.
It can't be a bomb, basically, is what it is. It just can't be a bomb.
No, and I get that. I have more faith in what I think this movie is going to be.
Yeah.
And again, I have no specific reason. It's just a gut feeling. I have more faith than what traditional marketing strategies belie when it comes to promoting a movie for this one. There's something about it.
And they're going to remind people over and over again that this is the person that brought you the Guardians of the Galaxy,
which was not supposed to work.
No.
And definitely knocked it out of the park. To that end, though, there are things that they clarified, very specifically things that are in production right now that they openly stated, which I think was very smart of us, or for them to give us. Peacemaker Season 2, hearing the inclusion of it and understanding that there are aspects of Season 1 that are going to be canon to this, what's moving forward, and then are just not going to be canon moving forward.
Well, I would think the only thing they need to take out is that post-credit scene with the Justice League and everything pretty much
kind of can work, no matter what. I think that is a bold position. It fits into, as much as I'm about to contradict myself, it fits into what you're saying about the need to use these trailers to show a separation, because that clearly was one that's a bridge between the two. But I am impressed that they are doing something as bold as saying, "We'll just cut that part out, like pretend like that part doesn't happen." Yeah. And I think it's such a refreshing way of acknowledging the intelligence of your audience, that you can tell them, like, yes, no, you're absolutely right. It was a part of it before, but that was before we had this opportunity in front of us. And now that that's changed, do this.
All right. So I'm going to date myself.
Uh-oh.
Did you ever watch Happy Days?
Yeah.
Okay. So how many Cunninghams were there?
That
lived in the house.
Oh, because it does change. They drop 2? Is it 2 that they drop, or 1?
Drop 1.
They drop 1. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Because Richie had a brother, right? Yeah.
Chuck.
Yes.
He was in like one episode, and you never saw him again.
Ever.
And they never even referenced him either.
No. The same thing with Family Matters.
One of the girls.
Yes.
She went upstairs to go to bed and was never heard from her.
Never came back. She just.
Yeah.
That was it. So, and I totally, like, again, I get it. I get it. Sometimes that's the way this stuff works.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they are being open about it and being like, no, that you're absolutely right. We did change it. Now go. You know, that's super fun for me. I did hear that they are doing a new intro sequence for Peacemaker. I think that was one of those pieces that absolutely captured everyone's imaginations and made them love the show right away. John Cena was great in it, like without question.
Yeah.
But definitely love that they are bringing back the dance sequence as a staple. It kind of reminds me of, and this might be a bad reference, but it reminds me of The Cosby Show and how it had a different dance music sequence every season, which was fun. I like those signature things that makes, you know, it kind of stand out, which is kind of great.
You're allowed to like things that you liked.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I just don't want anybody new to be like, what? And I'm like, nah, come on. It's
you know, you didn't know then what you know now.
I mean, technically,
like, do you go back and revisit it all? No, we're not.
No.
It's
okay.
remember.
I can remember.
Yes.
That's it. All right. So Peacemaker season 2, that's super fun. Are you a Peacemaker fan?
So I didn't like him in the Suicide Squad at all.
Okay.
But I did like the show.
Because the show was
and
great.
I did
In a
love
weird
the
way.
opening sequence too.
Yeah.
I know who John Cena is. And everyone's like, "Oh, he's so funny," and blah blah blah, and you know, like in Trainwreck, and I'm like, I don't see it. And then, you know, the Suicide Squad.
Did you just say you didn't see John Cena? Did you just?
Okay.
Did you?
Anyway, and the Suicide Squad came out, and I thought he was annoying. And then you watch Peacemaker, and maybe it's the Rogue One effect. Maybe that's James Gunn's Andor right there.
Maybe.
The Peacemaker.
Okay. All right.
Maybe, you know, you know what? I've only watched the Suicide Squad once.
Oh.
I never went back to it because I was just like,
hey, go try it again. Just to see.
I don't think it's gonna happen. But I'm looking forward to the second season.
Yeah, same. As I understand, they are not starting on Supergirl yet, but it's going to be like this summer. Is that right?
No, they're filming it.
Oh, they are filming it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I did see something that was saying that like the plan was that they're filming it inside somewhere, so any chance of us actually seeing like Lobo is not going to happen because they're filming in something like in a space or whatever,
like their version of The Volume,
something like that. Yeah. It's so,
and I think it's over in England.
Okay,
I'm not 100% sure.
Got you. And there's so many people like, oh man, we're not gonna see what Lobo looks like, or we're not gonna see Jason Momoa as Lobo. Jason Momoa is Lobo, like just lighter skin. That's really about it, man.
Yeah,
like
a little bit of makeup.
Like barely. Like that's what the dude looks like.
Yeah.
Like it's that simple. I'm excited for this one. I have this comic and I've not read it. After the announcement of the movie, I went out and bought Woman of Tomorrow, but just haven't taken the time to read it yet. Have you read this one?
Nope.
Okay. Maybe that's something that we'll do later on for another episode. We'll read it and we'll do a quick review of it, and that way we can see how well it does compare to the movie. But with this one, are we super Kryptonian heavy to start, and do you think that's a good thing?
I don't know, because it depends on where crypto comes from.
True.
And I don't think that Supergirl is in Superman very much.
Okay.
I know she's supposed to be in it. I think it's just going to be basically a cameo.
Right.
And we don't know who. Well, Brainiac's the baddie, right?
We don't know.
We don't know.
But
even if it is Brainiac, it kind of depends on which version of Brainiac that is.
True.
And I would lean more towards the original than the he was, you know, the computer for Krypton or whatever.
Right.
Though I don't mind that story, but no, I don't think I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Okay.
And I think it also goes back to how many different characters are going to be in Superman.
I can see that. What I remember hearing or reading about was that despite the varied cast members of the Superman movie, it's really about 3 people. And so hearing that, I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. I'm curious as to exactly who the 3 are. I would assume Superman, Lex, is it Metamorpho or Lois or whomever. Like, I'm curious as to who the third person actually is going to be.
Can the three people be one person?
That's interesting.
Kal-El.
Yeah, Clark
Kent,
and Superman. Ooh. Oh, I hadn't thought of it that way. Damn, you're good.
I doubt that's what it is.
No, but that's a very interesting move.
I would think it would be heavy on Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Not so heavy on Lex.
Okay.
I just don't feel like Lex Luthor is going to be like he's going to be in it.
Yeah.
And he's not necessarily going to be in the background, but it's not going to be. Clearly I'm just speculating on this. And I just think that Lois becomes part of the, like, she's her own character, but also she's a part of the Clark Kent story. And I only think we're going to get like an introduction of Metamorphose. So, okay. I think everybody else is an introduction. And I think, while it might be around 3 characters, the majority of it's going to be,
that core Superman story.
It's going to be, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost.
I have sent them you, my son.
Yeah.
By the time this episode airs, the passing of Gene Hackman has been announced to the world. Very, very sad to hear that. He was such a good Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's also like 96 years old.
Yeah.
So, he led a good life.
He did. He did. He totally did.
And he went out on his own as far as acting goes. He was like, I'm done.
I don't want to
do it anymore. He never came back.
He never did. Like, you got to respect that.
Yeah.
He's like, when I said I was done, he was done.
Absolutely.
Like, big shout out. What other, like, as a quick aside, what other Gene Hackman films are you like a big fan of?
So I did like him in The Quick and the Dead.
Dude, I was just telling my sister about that movie and she's like, what is that? I'm like, I raised you wrong. I am so sorry. I loved him in The Quick and the Dead. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, anything he showed up in
was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it didn't really matter to me.
I got you.
What was the one with Will Smith?
Enemy of the State.
Yeah.
That was a good one too.
Like he was
good. He was good.
So far gone in that.
I love that one. The Replacements will always have a special place in my heart. That's another just great Gene Hackman, let alone football movie.
Yeah.
Especially because Keanu Reeves, Shane Falco attended the Ohio State University.
I always love it when they throw that like football player from Ohio State University. And I'm like, okay,
come on,
sure.
come on. We're out
Why
here.
not?
We're out here. What was it? In Game Day as well? Wasn't that another one where I think it was Chadwick Boseman's character?
Point Break.
Really? Oh God,
Johnny Utah.
Okay. You're gonna make me admit something in front of God and everybody.
Never seen it.
I've never seen that movie.
I'm not shocked by that statement.
Never seen it. I have no reason as to not have watched it.
Yeah.
But I've just never seen that movie. Not all the way through. I will change that because I've seen as far as Anthony shooting himself in the foot, like when they raid the house.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that a bajillion times. Just never seen the whole movie. I will fix that. I'm sorry. Okay. Getting back to this DC slate. So were there any things that actually surprised you that they announced were coming?
I think the Sergeant Rock one.
See, we are locked in.
Like, I don't understand that, but also, he's got, after watching Creature Commandos, there's something about World War II that he likes.
Yes.
I totally agree with that's fine. And it's like, and everyone talking about how Daniel Craig dropped out. I'm like, Daniel Craig dropped out by saying he didn't want the role. As far as I know, he was never even offered the role. And not to mention the fact he's entirely too old for the character.
He's a little bit out there.
Yeah.
Like, it's like respectfully, like Daniel Craig is awesome.
Do I love Daniel Craig? Yes.
Yes. If this was maybe towards the exact end of his run as James Bond, maybe. But
I think that, and he was in his 50s, early 50s at that point, and I think that would translate well for someone in his 30s during World War II.
Yes.
For multiple reasons.
I agree with that. What I am wrestling with that one, because I do think it's a very interesting out there sort of space. Having a war movie is very interesting and kind of overdue. We had a stint where like every few years there was a really good war movie that came out and it kind of, reiterated, defined the genre and things like that. We haven't had that in a while. But to that end, as much as I personally like the concept of Alan Ritchson as Batman, I think him as Sergeant Rock would be really good, but it might be a little too much to his role as Reacher.
Yeah, that's where I would have a problem with
Okay.
Yeah. Because at that point he's getting typecast.
He is.
And he, it's one thing to be Batman after you've been Hawk and Arthur Curry.
Completely. He's running the list.
Yeah. So, I could see him doing that.
Yeah.
I could see him coming back, to do superhero stuff because I think he'd probably have fun doing it.
Absolutely.
But to play a character over and over again, even if it's just with a name change,
it's still that character.
Yeah, it's still that character.
All right. I say that because I am currently watching Reacher and I enjoy it a lot, but I don't know who else I would kind of pick for that character type. And I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, there is a level of typecasting that could easily fall into. But I think he's such a unfamiliar to modern audiences character that it's an interesting sort of move.
I think I would have a problem with a sergeant in the army that looks like that.
Okay. All right. I get it. Because you're like, what
the guy's huge, all right?
Are they so here?
That makes him a big target also.
Yes, it does. Yes,
so,
it does.
I would like someone more human looking.
Okay. That's fair. What I'm curious about is with Sergeant Rock, it's easy company, but are they going to introduce the losers at all?
There's a possibility of
I think that would be fun.
Or Blackhawks as well.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's,
so there's a whole
war genre that they could spin off on, which I think is kind of fun.
But yeah, I the announcements, the thing that I like the most about the announcements is it's something that they've been talking about the entire time.
Yes.
They will not announce something until they have a script,
which is great.
Yes.
And to that end, you shared with me that they have on-set photos of Aaron Pierre and I just lost Hal Jordan's name. What is his name?
Kyle Chandler.
Thank you. Seeing them already together on set, clearly in production.
Yep.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Because there's always at risk of they make this announcement of a casting, but then production is a ways off, and anything can happen that kind of delays it, deters it, messes it up. I'm looking at you, Marvel Studios, and Mahershala Ali and Blade. I was super excited to see no, we are actively gung-ho making this happen. And to your point of we're only announcing things when we have scripts for them.
Right.
Like that is a huge plus in terms of the production of what they're doing. I love that.
So they may say that, we want to do The Brave and the Bold,
right?
But they don't have anything in production because they don't have
the story.
Script.
Yeah. They got nothing locked in.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a smart thing to do. It gives them time, which is everything, especially if in the process of making things, as James has shown, he will do the work to make sure that the post-production has enough time to do what they need to do. And so to see the ball kind of rolling along and not feel rushed, I think is a beautiful statement to what sort of quality we're going to get with these pieces. How do you feel about the production output that they said that they want? Was it like 2 live action pieces, 1 animated piece? Like, it's a lot that they are aiming for.
Yeah. Well, from the movie standpoint, though, if you think about it, if that's 3 movies a year, Marvel was doing that.
That's true. That's true.
And that when they say animated movie, now that doesn't tell me that they're actually putting that out in the theaters.
True.
That could be for Max, or if it's Lanterns, it's HBO.
Yeah.
It's the 2 live action shows and 2 animated shows, and we don't it's just like the ongoing Batman is a part of that without being a part of the DCU,
right? Or
DCU, I'm sorry. And I feel the same way about Clayface, especially when they say it's a $40 million budget, that's not going to be a heavy animated or CG version of Clayface, and it's supposed to be a horror movie, and I'm like, I mean, that could be a Max or HBO thing easily, but I would almost hope something like that would be put in theaters.
Okay. No, I can totally see that, especially if, in terms of production cost, $40 million might seem a little low for today's movie feature amount, but for horror, not necessarily low and easier to make back.
Yeah, Blumhouse could make almost 3 movies with that.
Exactly.
With that.
Exactly. And I think that's a huge piece of the puzzle there. I also like what you said was that it's a part of this release slate, but not necessarily the DCU slate.
Right.
Because I saw that we have my adventures with Green Lantern, and that seems to be a carryover from my adventures with Superman, but that's not involved in this at all. So it's still giving a lot of room for other things for you to explore, which I think is very smart from a studio head perspective. When Warner Brothers went into the DC or EU, all you had were things that led into the Snyderverse, essentially.
Yep.
And if there's any aspect of it that you don't like, then all of it fails because you don't support it. But now you get different pockets here and there, and you're openly saying like, yeah, no, we're creating pockets of stuff. You want like this one, cool. If you want like that one, cool. If you like them both, even better. But if you just want to pick one, you can, and they don't have to cross over. It's totally fine.
I like the fact that you can get stuff like Batman and Penguin, and those link up, but it doesn't necessarily have to link up with like Joker, or with Superman.
It's finding your own voice of fandoms within what you have, and I think that's super smart. I really like that one. I am beyond ecstatic for the Dynamic Duo movie, though. The concept of Dick Grayson and Jason Todd together excites me because it's not something I think that too many people think about. It wasn't until the introduction of Tim Drake, the third Robin, that you really started to see the overlap of previous Robins operating with current Robins. It was very much so like once Dick was shot by Joker and retired and Jason Todd takes over, they don't really talk to each other. They don't interact very well. It's like Dick Grayson got fired and Jason took his job, and that was just it. So the idea of telling a story where they are together is super exciting because I don't know exactly what is going to happen. Like there's nothing that I can pick in comics to go, oh, well, they're just telling that story.
Right.
It's almost wholly unique and original, and I love that. Yeah. Super excited for it. How do you feel? Do you have a favorite Robin?
Not really.
Okay.
The idea of Robin is just kind of always been weird to me. And the fact that
in bright colors.
Yeah, the bright colors. Like, we want the little kid to be the target of everything.
That's right. Shoot at him.
Yeah.
Shoot at him. I think that would be that's a very cool truth. How old is Chris O'Donnell?
He's got to be in his 40s easily.
I would say for sure.
If he's not 50, I'll be shocked.
Okay. I would love for Chris O'Donnell to get a chance to do something, whether live action or voice.
54.
I might be a little too old for a role as Batman in something, but I think that would be a lot of fun even if as a voice actor he comes in and he's the voice of Batman in Dynamic Duo, just to give a little hat nod. Dang it, I did it. Little hat nod to previous installments of his role as Robin.
Sure.
No love for it. All right, that's fine. What if it was Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Robin?
He's already done that. Yeah. He was Robin.
Yeah, that's true. I'm so disappointed they didn't pick that up too. That would have been fun to see happen. Okay, so this DC slate seems solid. I'm excited for it. Obviously, we were already on board for Superman. What is your number one thing outside of Superman?
Lanterns.
I didn't even wait.
No.
I love it. No, I'm super excited for that too. Maybe we can do a watch party.
Sure.
Yes. And on that note, guys, thank y'all for tuning into the Chatterverse. I'm Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
And I'm Bill, and April 1st is not that far away.
It's not.